all of a sudden, he moved that piece. I wasn't planning on him moving that piece. Oh my God.
Real life situations. Oh my God. I didn't plan on that motherfucker doing that shit.
Yo, that's so facts. That is so facts. I swear. So you just be put in situations.
The universe starts to set up these experiences, whether they be people, places, or things that this person's gonna run into on that road in that vibration as far as that mindset is concerned. So that's all.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Begin to look toward making this your decade. As you begin to look toward making your life different, as you begin to look at yourself, you got to redefine yourself. Who are you right now? And who must you become in order to create what you want? What has to change?
Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
And the moment you feel unlimited, the moment you feel like a patient parent, the moment you feel abundant, the moment you feel free, now you are teaching your body chemically to understand what your mind has intellectually understood. So we can say knowledge is for the mind and experience is for the body. And in that moment, you're beginning to embody the truth of that philosophy, of that theory. And you're literally signaling new genes in new ways. And you are rewriting your biological program.
They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. You got the power. So I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken. I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow.
So our job is to go from philosopher to initiate to master, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, from thinking to doing to being, to learning it with your head, practicing it with your hands, and knowing it by heart.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Welcome to the Chocolate Goodie Show. My name is Jamal Jackson, real estate solutions specialist and your daily dose of motivation. Here we talk all things real estate, personal growth, financial freedom, and how to unlock your unalienable rights. I specialize in uncovering off-market properties, renovating them, and turning them into dream homes or profitable investments. Let's go, let's grow. And again, welcome everybody to the Chocolate Goodie Show. Today is Wisdom Wednesday with a focus on personal development and habits. Wisdom comes from experience, reflection, and applying lessons learned. I'm going to say that one again. Wisdom comes from experience, reflection, and applying lessons learned. I'm sure y'all heard me say before, reflect, redefine, and realign. And it's crazy how when I go through these days and these lessons per se that I go through on a daily basis, how much they correlate. Reflect on your experience. Redefine on that reflection. And realign by applying the lessons learned. When it comes to personal development, creating habits that align with your values and goals is a form of wisdom in action. So today, let's explore how we can apply the lessons of the past to build better habits.
I will never give up, no matter how hard it is, because I believe in myself, in spite of my obstacles, in spite of my weaknesses.
Stop making excuses, take control of your situation, and rise to your potential.
Because that's how I do life. My butt is up early. I show up on time. I do what I say. I dot my I's, I cross my T's. Man up, get it done, boom.
Nobody can destroy you if you won't let them. Don't let them. You are a man. Stand up and be a man.
Man up, stop crying. The decisions you make right now is up to you. You crying about something that happened to you when you was a kid. You ain't even no kid no more. You a grown man. Take full ownership. The stupid stuff you doing, your parents didn't make you play no video games. And what you crying about? So what, your daddy wasn't there? What you crying about? You ain't 10 no more. Man up.
So I had to learn to man up very quickly. And I think that was an edge because I had to learn how to make money. I had to learn how to make friends. I had to learn how to fight. I had to learn how to defend myself. I had to learn how to defend my family. When our back's against the wall, you have the instinct to want to protect your family. See, all the instincts are in here. It's pulling those instincts out. And sometimes to pull out the right instincts requires some travesty or crisis or challenges to go through.
So human up. Get up and get on it, because the weak will struggle. Success is reserved for those that are the strongest.
And so every time I would need to pull the trigger on something and there was resistance and reluctance, those 5 words, it's time to man up. And then I would do it.
And you need to have the courage to follow through. Quit half-assing yourself.
Every time I've risen the standards, people have made me feel guilty that maybe I'm raising it too high. Maybe I'm too tough on my guys. Maybe I'm too edgy. And I expect everybody to step up and man up and woman up. Maybe maybe I shouldn't raise my standards to this level. Don't let it confuse you. You keep raising the standard.
And guess what? I had to get up even though it was hard, and I had to take ownership of my life, take ownership of my time, take ownership of my day.
Sometimes, man, we really got to teach ourselves how to be a man. Along that journey, we'll bump our head and then learn the lesson.
You know, dig deep and do what you have to do.
Humble, since you're here, brother, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what's one piece of wisdom that you gained? Peace. What's one piece of wisdom that you gained about personal development that changed how you approach your goals?
One piece of wisdom that I've learned was, you know, I never lose. I win or I learn. You know, things may not happen the way you want them to happen, but you know, shortcomings happen. But again, you never lose. You know, you win or you learn. You know, and I developed this because I'm a sports player. You know, I have a lot of qualities in my repertoire, but one quality I have is I'm a sports player. So I have a competitive nature. I have a competitive mentality. And one thing I realized is whenever you learn, whenever you lose at something, right? Like whenever I lost a football game or lost a basketball game, I could always go back and like look at little niches that I didn't do correct. I say, okay, if I correct this in my next game, or I think this way in my next game, if I look at things of this nature in my next game, then maybe I could, have a better outcome. And it always worked for me, even when I ran track, hey, if I control my breathing coming around the curve, or, my last stretch of the mile, if I gave, just this much more effort, or if I strategically did certain little things, then I can have a better outcome. And that's what shaped, my mentality of how I look at things now. Even when things don't go my way, it's always a learning situation for me. I'm always picking things up, learning, and trying to reconstruct how I go about things, and, looking at life that way, make life like a puzzle. Because even when you reconstruct things a certain way, doesn't mean you necessarily get it right even the second time, or you might not get it right the third time or the fourth time. But it's just like a puzzle, You might know there's a piece that go in a certain place. And, that people did puzzles how I grew up doing puzzles. We flip all the puzzle pieces upside downwards. And so in that manner, we got to flip the puzzle pieces right side up to find the right puzzle piece. You might not get the right puzzle piece the first time or even the second time, but you got to keep flipping the puzzle pieces up to see, okay, if this is the right puzzle piece to go right here. And so, that's one thing that I learned by self-development, because in life, we're going to take a lot of L's. We're gonna get a lot of setbacks. There's going to be a lot of brick walls that we're going to run into. And if we don't learn how to be mentally strong enough or mentally intelligent enough to take a step back and actually pay attention and analyze on, okay, how to get this right, we just going to keep running into the same old brick wall, And it reminded me of a quote, right? Why run through the door? Why run through the wall when I can just open the door? Right? And that's the mentality a lot of us have, right? We just run into the wall, or I'm going to get out, but I want to run into the wall. But there's a door right here that's open. Just walk through the door, And so that's one of the lessons. I land my plane with that, Brother Chop.
We become what we think about the most. Y'all hear me say it over and over again. And it's very important that even when things go wrong, you don't go with them. That when different things happen in life, that you, like Humble said, are mentally resilient enough to snap back. That don't mean you won't get caught up in your feelings. That don't mean that it won't hurt. That don't mean that you won't be distracted for a moment. But as you become more self-aware, as you become more in tune with yourself, when these situations arise, you realize sooner rather than later that you have the ability to change this. You have the ability to counterpunch. Sometimes, when in fights and things like that, especially martial arts, some of the coolest stuff is that sometimes when they hit somebody, that person's already hitting them back. Grand rising, welcome. And that is, I'm looking at it like this. Do you think that when that punch was coming, that person didn't see it coming? They didn't realize that swing was coming. I mean, they saw that punch coming right at them. And they realized that it really wasn't much they can do to get away from it. But they decided internally within that split second, when they saw that punch coming, that they was going to punch back. That's huge. That's huge. Even when it's coming, even as you're taking the blow, being able to punch back, take all that hurt, take all that pain, and you turn it into power.
It's always you versus you. You have to work hard. Everybody in this room knows if it's worth something to you, you got to put in the effort. And I always like to say it's the work we put in when nobody's watching that really matters. You versus you. You got to be the one to get up every morning, be disciplined, put in the consistent daily hard work, because that gains success. Because my old man taught me that. Right? Got to work, get your ass in the gym and work. How hard do I work? I work hard.
You have an insane schedule.
4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. 4:30, 4:45, I'm doing some sort of cardio. It's still dark outside. I do this and then I'll have breakfast and then I will go gym for about an hour. and then I'll go to set. Like, I'm gonna be the baddest motherfucker walking it.
You gotta be the hardest workers in the room. And don't the opportunity up. What I have found is that when you take that kind of action, that kind of step of following your gut and your intuition, taking that step, whatever it is, the universe has a funny way of meeting you halfway. Realize there's more and think more. Think for more. You don't have to be just this. Man, the work ethic, the drive, that hunger to compete, it never goes away. The person I compete with most is just me. It's you versus you.
Hey family, this is your boy Chocolate Goodie. I just wanted to take a moment and say, this journey, this movement, is not just about me, it's about us. Together we're building something incredible, a community of action takers, dreamers and doers. But here's the truth, none of this happens without you. Every gift, every follow, every share, it's more than just a gesture, it's fuel for the vision. When you drop a gift, when you tap that follow button, you're not just supporting me, you're helping to spread positivity and empowerment and motivation to even more people. Your support helps us create more shows, bring more powerful guests, and helps me build a platform where everybody can shine. And if you support positive vibes, and you like what we're doing over here in the Soul Tribe family, growing and building a community of action takers and believers, then share the room, tap that screen, don't be mean, drop a bean, and do me a big favor and support my YouTube channel. Remember, together we are stronger. So educate yourself, ask questions, and verify everything. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. Let's go, let's grow.
Able to punch back, take all that hurt, take all that pain, and you turn it into power. You let it fuel your ambitions. You let it fuel your goals. You don't give up, you don't give in, you don't back down. Go ahead, brother.
One thing I do realize, right, is when things are going well, right, in one's life, it's easy to talk about it, right? It's easy to say, oh, yeah, we can do this, and we're supposed to do that. And you going through it, that's where the work shows. You see what I'm saying? When you actually stand in the midst of a fight. Because it's easy, it's easy standing on the side of the pool, instructing people how to swim. But then when you get thrown in the deep water, it's like, all right, now it's your turn to swim. Let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, now we got to put that action in. And putting that action in is way harder than really talking about it, man. That's like, if I may really fast, that's something I'm experienced. That's something I've always experienced, something I've always knew. Right? But it just hit different when you're physically going through it.
Peace and abundance to you, Amp.
It hit way different when you're going through it, man. Because the simple fact is, you never thought in a million years
it would be
this stuff was going to happen. And then it does. So then what do? Your reactions. The way you react to things, how it's going to turn out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I act all hasty at a situation, but it takes time for the situation to actually heal, I'm wasting my time. Because it's not going to heal until they got the correct time of healing.
Yeah, you're focusing on the wrong things type deal. When you could be, yeah. You could be way more productive.
You got to trust the process and go through the process and follow the process.
Mm-hmm.
Got to believe in the process. Telling my son that, man, you just got to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it turns out good, turns out good, turns out
all right, it's all right. Turns out bad, turns out bad. You just have to reconstruct it.
Of the saying that, what does it say? Adversity reveals a man to himself. Yeah, adversity reveals a man to himself. When you find yourself in this messed up place and there's nobody else to help you, and you have to, at that point, man up.
It's time to stay focused. It's time to decide clubs, partying, trying to fit in and socialize, rub elbows with everybody so people can stop calling you weird. Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you staying on the basketball court so much? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you not clubbing? Like every time I text you and invite you to go do something fun and cool, you always studying? Because I'm trying to get it.
I'm just thinking how funny it is where I'm going to be tomorrow morning and my competition still drinking down their fears and they're, trying to escape their current reality, Friday night party. So they can go out there and party it up and everything else to find some relief to the stressful life they live in. That's a bullshit temporary relief. I'm working tonight for a permanent relief. That's why I laugh. I laugh at how much further I'm getting ahead of it.
Mental toughness isn't something that you sample. It's something that you live in every day. So when something hard would happen to these kids, like in Hell Week, it would draw on something that made them very insecure. And they look for comfort. Whenever hardness comes, and you don't know what it is, it may be different for you than it is for me, but you go back to your insecurities. And then when you go back to your insecurities, you then look for comfort within those insecurities. And we all look for that cookie that your mom used to give you when you were sad, when you were sick. We look for our wife or our husband. We look for comfort. It's in those moments you must retrain your mind to think differently.
What if I told you this was the last Monday morning of your life? How do you stay driven? I'm gonna ask you a question. How don't you stay driven? Well, let me get this right. You won the lotto of the universe, which is you are a human being on earth. And you're not driven, and you're not fired up, and you're not going for it, and you're willing to sit like a lump and just wait till you die, you suck.
It gets harder for anybody that's living and breathing. So no matter what you do, you gotta keep moving forward. Strong in the trenches.
You don't know where you're going. You're lost. You know what I mean? You have no direction. So for me, I felt like both of them together, when you have the vision and you're able to manifest, but then you also put the work in, magic happens, man. Magic. That's where the magic is. But a lot of people never get there. Unfortunately, a lot of people, we're blessed that we can dream.
Right? I got to get stronger. I got to train differently. The weight training program that I'm doing, I got to tailor it for an 82-game season so that when the playoffs come around, my legs are stronger and that ball gets there. So I look at it with rationale and say, okay, well, the reason why I shot air balls is because my legs aren't there. I go, well, next year they'll be there. That was it. Done.
Come on, where are your values behind the scenes? What do your habits look like behind the scenes? Come on, what kind of work are you putting in behind the scenes? Come on, drop down and give me 50. Come on, write it again. Come on, believe it again. Come on, sing again, record the song again. Come on, I'm talking to that athlete. I'm talking to that musician. Come on, who are you out there? When you are committed, you give everything you have. Every single day, you are either losing ground or gaining ground. The choice is yours. And this time, make it personal.
And you have to, at that point, man up. Where you have to stand your ground and do what's necessary. Now, stand your ground don't necessarily mean that you just stand there, right? Standing your ground means taking action sometimes. Sometimes it means moving in silence. Sometimes it means being aggressive and assertive. The reality is, hey, Grand Rising, Rexo, peace and abundance to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Saying welcome, welcome. It's very important that we embrace that. and that we don't run from our situations, that we don't wallow in our situation, but that we, I want to say, understand how necessary they are. It's kind of like when you playing chess. Okay, that's what's up. All right, that's what's up, Humble. And then I'll let you come back in after this. When you playing chess, you realize that whether you like it or not, you're about to lose a piece sometimes. Whether you like it or not, you had no plans on moving this piece over here, but because of the circumstances and situations, you got to move this piece now, and it's going to cause different things to happen. When you're really looking at the board, you understand that if I move this piece, this is going to happen, and if that happens, that happens. If that happens, that happens. Next thing you know, you're 3-4 steps ahead of time. But like what Empathy was talking about, you can drastically change the game by focusing on the wrong move. It doesn't mean that that's necessary, but you can be focused on this move over here, and you got something you're about to lose a piece. Ooh, that's heavy. That's heavy, because it happens when you play the game. If you're playing chess and you in the midst, you at that middle point of the game and that's a rough time when everybody been moving and most of the pieces been touching, and now there's no other move that can be made without somebody losing a piece. That means that no matter how comfortable you are with life at that point, something's about to change, because now you got to make a decision. Sometimes life puts a decision on you, or whether you like it or not, you got to make a decision. You had no plans whatsoever, but all of a sudden he moved that piece. I wasn't planning on him moving that piece. Oh my God. Go ahead, brother.
That's fuck chess, real life situations. Oh my God. I didn't plan on that motherfucker doing that shit.
Yo, that's so facts. That is so facts. I swear. So you just be put in a situation. Life puts you in. It's crazy. Like just like Empathy said, yo. Like, all right, because I know we like to equate life to games, because there are games that when we play, we like, yo, this is like life. But when you just strictly look at life, bro, it's like, yo, in life, we get put in situations that just smack the fuck out of us, bro. And we just like, yo, what do we do now? How do we? And the crazy thing about life is like, okay, in chess, you just lose a piece. You're like, okay, I can recover. In life, you got emotions, you got pride, you got ego, you got definitely if you're a man. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you're a man, not only if you're a man, but if you're a melanated man, not only if you're a melanated man, but if you're a melanated man with children, not only if you're a melanated man with children, but if you're a melanated man with children trying to take care of a family, like, your life throw all of these situations at you, and you just like, as a man, you just have to sit there and you just have to be like, all right, what do I do? I can't, if I do this, I'll lose that. If I do this, I'll lose that. Yeah. And then the crazy thing is, it's like, okay, well, if I sacrifice this for this, I'm expecting this to be a better move. But then when you sacrifice, it's like, yo, the grass ain't greener on the other side. It's like all of this shit starts smacking the fuck out. Just like, bro, it's crazy, because it takes me back to what my grandma used to say: a hard head make a soft ass. If you don't pay attention in life, you're gonna get fucked up, and that's just is what it is. You know,
hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this for Humble. I'm gonna tell you this. Where you fuck up at, that's where you get fucked up at. You understand that? So a life situation, where you fuck up at, that's where you get fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know, this is why, you know, working on self is so important. You know, and it's again, and you know what? Something else, you know, that go hand in hand with this is attachments, right? Because when you become so attached to something that you can't function
Without it.
Like and it's anything, right? It's your relationships. It's the physical things around you. When you become so attached to that you and yourself bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've lost
it's like I'm supposed to be here to develop myself. But when I develop myself, I lose the sense of what's going on around me. But when I lose the sense of what's going on around me, it's making my self-worth seem like it's not as important because it's not benefiting those who are around me, but it's benefiting me. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, you gotta be so grounded within self that no matter what's going on around you, yo, I'm willing to lose this 15-year relationship. I'm willing to lose this car. I'm willing to whatever don't. And now it hits you. Like, this is why I love Sagaru, because Sagaru deals with this attachment. He deals with like, yo, you have to be willing to let life go, to be greater than what you are. Everybody say they want to be successful, but it's just like Eric Thomas, right? Like he say, you know, when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And to really understand that, you have to be willing to let shit go. Like the most practical things in life, you have to be willing to let that shit go. Just let that shit go. But it's hard because we have an emotional attachment to that. And when you have an emotional, and that's something listen, bro. When I'm speaking from the heart, bro. When you have an emotional attachment to something,
I can tell.
It's so hard to cut that cord. It's so hard to sever that attachment. Definitely when it's not good. It's crazy because you in your mind know, yo, this is not good for me at this moment.
It's not good for me.
But your heart be like, you don't want to cut that off because, you know, you start making excuses on why not to cut that off. Yo, you can't cut that off because they need you. You can't cut that off without you. And it's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Yo, you gotta look like, yo, when I say, yo, this is real, bro. Yo, I can camera right now. What time out? When I say this is real, this shit is real. You gotta look in the mirror, yo, and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Are you really this stupid? And it's like, no, I'm not stupid. But again, I have an emotional attachment to this thing. And so we have to be willing to learn how to, this is what I'm learning. You have to let shit go. You just gotta let shit go, bro. And it sounds simple, but it's not. That shit is hard as fuck. That shit is hard. I land my plane with that, y'all.
Absolutely.
Hey family, this is your boy Chocolate Goodie. I just wanted to take a moment and say, this journey, this movement, is not just about me, it's about us. Together we're building something incredible, a community of action takers, dreamers and doers. But here's the truth, none of this happens without you. Every gift, every follow, every share, it's more than just a gesture, it's fuel for the vision. When you drop a gift, when you tap that follow button, you're not just supporting me, you're helping to spread positivity and empowerment and motivation to even more people. Your support helps us create more shows, bring more powerful guests, and helps me build a platform where everybody can shine. And if you support positive vibes, and you like what we're doing over here in the Soul Tribe family, growing and building a community of action takers and believers, then share the room, tap that screen, don't be mean, drop a bean, and do me a big favor and support my YouTube channel. Remember, together we are stronger. So educate yourself, ask questions, and verify everything. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. Let's go, let's grow.
Yeah, it's so important to be able to let shit go. I'll just go right back to chess. Since I got that as my background, let me get back on the screen here. Did I do it? Yeah. And I mean, I love chess because I look at it like the game of life. For me, you can relate. I can always take life and put it in chess. And that mindset of letting things go. Sometimes in the midst of the game, like let's get back to that one piece I was talking about. That one piece that I was focused on. That I realized after I looked away from the board for a minute, I stepped back, try to come to myself, relax, and let's come back and take another look at the situation. And when I look at the situation, I realize that this over here is just more important. And even though I really liked that knight, I really liked that bishop, I had plans for that bishop. I can't use it anymore. I got to let it go. I have to allow that person, life, to capture that piece and it be no more. And like Humble was saying, that emotional attachment, Grand Rising AZ, that emotional attachment it can trick you. It can trick you into go ahead and focusing on that. But this is the thing about life in a game of chess, because if you realize how important this piece over here is, and you decide to go ahead and save this piece over here, you can lose the game. Sometimes you have to just let shit go. In order to win, sometimes you just have to let shit go.
Hey, bro, check this out. If you don't get rid of some of your things that you have had for a while, it builds up cluttered energy. You have to learn to detach from things. I would say maybe every 3-4 years, you have to let certain material go, like old clothing and stuff like that, because that brings that energy, bad chi, and you have to learn to let shit go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if I may, right? It's so, and this takes me back to what I was saying earlier to the question you asked me, Brother Chop, because just because you lose the game don't mean there won't be another game, right? Like, okay, you play, you lost these pieces, bam, and the game is over. You checkmated, right? But then what do you do after? You sit down and you play another game. No, I got to get this right. Like I remember, people that know I play chess, I'm self-taught. And I remember when I was working on London, right? When I first found out about the London system, right? And I swear, I lost like 15 games in a row before I really figured out what was it I was doing wrong, why, how to move certain pieces, but I kept losing. I'm like, okay, I did this wrong. Okay, my opening wasn't as strong. Okay, this is why my opening wasn't as strong. It's like, you gotta really sit down and take a pen and a pad to life, just like you do with anything else. Like, definitely for me, like, just like me personally, y'all know, I call myself a scholar. I sit and I take notes on books. I take notes on, people speaking and things of that nature. But you gotta sit and take notes on life just this much. Okay, this move I just made, this investment I just made don't work as well as this investment that I'm gonna make over here. Me saving for 3 months don't work as well as me saving for 6 months. Me just running, me working as a carpenter don't work as well as me working at a food spot. It's like when we start to stop and take notes of things that we do well in our life and things we don't do well, like it's like this is why like people like Art Thomas, right? People like just people like those guys, right? One thing they say, or like Bob Proctor, right? Don't focus on what you don't do particularly well. Focus on your strong suits, right? When you like we like to focus on things we can't get right. Oh, I can't drive, or I can't travel at the moment, or excuse me, I don't got the funds to get this house. I don't got the funds to get this car. It's like, all right, don't worry about that. Worry about the fact that you do have a job. Worry about the fact that you are, stable under a roof right now. Worry about the fact that you don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from. When you start worrying about your strengths, you know, then you can stack your strengths against your weaknesses, and you can stack the game in your favor in that manner. There's so many things in life that when you stuck in a rut and you have to look back on that stuff, it's like, yo, I get it now. I get why I'm here. I get how I got here. You know, because some people, they get lost and they don't even know how. They just get lost. And then that eventually leads to people giving up. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I just can't get this right. But then when you stop and you start self-evaluating, oh, this attitude I have is what's stopping me from reaching the greatness I can attain. The stubbornness I have, this loyalment to myself is what's stopping me from reaching the next level. Me being too nice is what's stopping me from being to the, you see what I'm saying? So it's like my lack of boundaries is what's stopping me from reaching the next level. You know, I land my plane with that, y'all. Go ahead, Brother Az.
Just add on to it. Yeah, you got to focus on your strengths, but also too, you got to focus on your weaknesses. Point in case, in relationships, let's say you're not a good communicator, but let's say you're a good worker. So you're like, okay, I know how to communicate, but I'll show through acts of service. So you show through acts of service, and it does have a lot of weight, but you won't have that genuine connection if you know that you're weak in communication. So you have to focus also on your weaknesses too, and work on those things. Because the weaknesses just means that it's almost like going to a gym. You don't have enough strength. People go to the gym, or your diet is bad, or you need surgery, so you go to a specialist. You know, we go far and beyond to look outside of ourselves to complete the inadequacies that we have on the inside of ourselves. But when it comes to dealing in relationships, dealing with businesses, dealing with groups, you know, and stuff like that, it's our weaknesses that we come together and we want to work on those things. That's all I just wanted to say, because that's what's going to help you be well-rounded, because your strengths just pop out. That's a natural thing. We're naturally strong. We're naturally going to do those things. It is unnatural for us to focus and really work on our weaknesses. That's something we kind of shy away from. Some people don't like to have tough conversations when it comes to relationships, because people start talking about the things that they're not good at, and so they steer away from, oh, I'll get to it, or I feel like you're picking on me, or I feel like you're, you know, because we're protective over our weaknesses when we need to make ourselves vulnerable, and that vulnerability makes it uncomfortable, and learning comes from being uncomfortable to adapt to new different steps and stuff. Prime example. Look at Chocolate. He's gone far beyond the Call of Duty. As far as some of the things that he has put himself into, which he was vulnerable, did not know how to do this and did not know how to do that, and now he's getting stronger, and he's getting stronger, and he's getting stronger. So we have to focus on those weaknesses. It's good to know that we're strong at, and I say this, and also too even with wisdom, you don't focus on the things that you know, you focus on the things that you don't know, because those are the areas where you do not know. So in conversation, you would be ignorant because you don't know, and that would be a sign of mental weakness if you're trying to get into a conversation with those people that are flourishing in those particular conversations. So it's a combination of being able to fluctuate from, you know, your weakness and strengths so that you can just be well balanced. But other than that, that's all I had to say.
Are you that person at work, you just looking at the clock and you can't stand your boss? Are you that person that's always making excuses and always justifying, and you're expecting this big life, you're expecting big money, you're expecting to go to that next level, and then everybody's fault but yours? You're talking about your mama, you're talking about your daddy, you're talking about your neighborhood and how you grew up. You had all these excuses to justify exactly where you are. I'm talking to you right now. Is that you?
You could have changed. You could have transformed your body. You could have bettered your relationship. You could have changed your career. You chose the life you're living right now. My question to you is, are you going to choose to do it again for another year? Are you going to take action, or are you going to waste another 365 days?
It means staying dedicated to your mental, because you know that when you have the mental fortitude, nothing will break you.
This year, it's your year. And I need you to eliminate any doubt. I need you to eliminate any fear and go get it. Focus, lock in.
In your life, stop being a spectator and start being a participant. Woo! Stop being a spectator in other folks' life and start being a participant in your life. Stop being a social media groupie, being a spectator in everybody else's life, and become a participant in your life by doing two things. Trust me, read a book once a week, and that could be a powerful transformation. Go and get a certification. Go back to school, man. Get smarter, get brighter, become an expert. You choose the two things you need to do. You probably already know. But if you can do these two things consistently, my friend, and lock in, this next year is your year.
It doesn't matter if you feel like it. It doesn't matter if you enjoy the task or not. If you want the results, show up and do the work.
The only thing you have ahead of you is a bunch of blank pages. Your story is still waiting to be written. The best part of that, you are holding the pen. So get writing and get doing. Get building. It's never too late to start creating the life you always wanted.
Are you ready to stop procrastinating, to let go of self-doubt and push through rumination? Are you ready to move through every challenge and become the person you were always meant to be?
And once you create this mental fortitude, you'll find out that you're capable of anything that you want to achieve, my friend. To push past that diagnosis, to make it through school, to push past and pursue your business, despite what anybody has to say.
Stop waiting on outside forces, external forces, to write your script, to write your narrative. No, that is up to you.
What you don't change, you choose. So if you're going into 2025 and you don't like your body and you don't do anything to change it, you are choosing to live there. If you're going into 2025 and you don't like your relationship, you don't feel fulfilled, loved, and happy, and you don't change it, you are choosing to stay there. If every day you dread going into work because you hate what you do and you want to pursue a different passion, but you don't change it, you are choosing it. And the beautiful thing is that you have all the power within you. You don't need me, you don't need anybody else to tell you what you're capable of. You just need you.
Lock in. Focus. If you keep talking and never doing, you're going to get exactly what you got each and every year before. Nothing.
If your if ain't strong enough, you'll never get to your then. Lock in. You can get anything you want.
No breakdowns, only breakthroughs. Keep pushing, keep grinding, keep striving, and you will see where your life takes you. Heights you never thought you would reach, places you never thought you would go. Your bank account on extra large, your life on inner peace, your life on serenity, your life on get up, get out, and get after it.
Stop wasting your time being a spectator in somebody else's life and start becoming a participant in your own life by having good habits and good rituals and simply doing the two powerful things that can be transformational for you. Because I know this is your year.
The life you want isn't out there somewhere. It's here. It's in your power to create it.
You need to understand, What you don't change, you choose. Are you going to yell at that morning person that makes you sleep in every day and say it's time to change? Are you going to go into your work with a different mentality to get that raise or get out of that situation and start your own business? Are you going to step up or are you going to fall down? Right now, you are faced with a choice. Change or remain the same.
You see, my friend, there's no such thing as negative self-talk when it comes to mental fortitude. Because all you think is finishing. All you think about is persevering through. All you think about is achieving what they say you won't achieve, my friend. Because you created that wire. You created that mental toughness within yourself, and it won't break you. Nothing will break you.
All gas, no brakes. That's the way you live your life. Maximum effort, maximum heart, maximum soul.
If you want to blow up, then you got to do two things. You choose the two things. But trust me, two things can be powerful. One thing might be some new friends. One thing might be getting up early. One thing might be working out, get your mind right. One thing might be reading books. You decide your two things.
Start believing in you so you can go into 2025 with an elevated mentality. So you can go into 2025 with a driven mindset.
Do what you need to do on a daily basis. Matter of fact, do what you need to do the night before to make sure you get up when you say you're going to get up. And you do the things that you say you're going to do. Absolutely no excuses. This is your year. This is your time. This is your moment. I just need you to own it.
Gratitude, and thank you for saying that. I wanted to, I'm glad that you brung up that word wisdom because it is Wisdom Wednesday, and just thinking about wisdom as a lifelong pursuit. Wisdom involves continuous learning. Wisdom is not just a fixed state; it's a journey of continual learning and growth. It's kind of like how Humble talked about before, and I was talking about earlier, taking those experience from reflecting, you know what I mean? Learning from those experience and redefining yourself by taking those L's, taking what you've learned, and then you turn around and you get to realign as you apply those different things. And and that, I guess, in the mindset of open-mindedness, wise people are open to new ideas and new perspectives, even if they challenge their own beliefs. And that's kind of where AZ was just coming in at, you know, even when you don't like it sometimes. I mean, and we always encourage, you know, in the Soul Tribe, that self-work. Everything always falls back on you, falls back on self. Your self-worth is going to be determined by your self-work. Ooh, what you do for self. That inner working, that inner figuring out, those conversations, having those hard conversations with yourself, where you can then embrace those new ideas. If you can't be honest with yourself, you can't get to that next level. It's like you'll always remain stuck to a certain point. It's like some of those people who just seem like they never grow up. They just got that attitude. This is just the way I am. I ain't never gonna change type thing. I mean, you're stuck because you're not willing to learn. You're not willing to embrace new ideas. And it's so important that we keep ourselves open-minded like that. In essence, wisdom is the ability to apply knowledge and experience with good judgment compassion, and a sense of perspective. It's about living in a meaningful life and making choices that contribute to the well-being of yourself and others. It's much easier to change yourself than it is to change the world. But I guarantee you that you'll find that if you change yourself, the world will change. Does that mean that we out here Donald Trumping and doing different things that are making different things happen? No, but what I'm talking about is your perspective. I'm talking about how you see things. I'm talking about what you choose to put your attention on, where your focus goes, the energy flows, right? And if your focus is in the wrong direction, if you're focused on the wrong piece, if you're focused on how bad this situation is, you'll stay there. How can you get out of the situation when all you're doing is focusing on the bad? You have to think forward. You have to think about solutions. You have to say, yes, I can. And understand that the universe will provide the how if you give it time. If you be a little quiet, if you actually allow yourself to reflect on your situation and be honest with your situation. I mean, that's the hardest part sometimes when we come into situations and having those hard conversations with ourselves, is actually being honest with it, because we get so accustomed to, and at least here in the United States, we get so accustomed to pointing the finger at other people and not realizing how much we were involved. Go ahead, Brother AZ. I think you wanted to say something.
Hey family, this is your boy Chocolate Goodie. I just wanted to take a moment and say, this journey, this movement, is not just about me, it's about us. Together we're building something incredible, a community of action takers, dreamers and doers. But here's the truth, none of this happens without you. Every gift, every follow, every share, it's more than just a gesture, it's fuel for the vision. When you drop a gift, when you tap that follow button, you're not just supporting me, you're helping to spread positivity and empowerment and motivation to even more people. Your support helps us create more shows, bring more powerful guests, and helps me build a platform where everybody can shine. And if you support positive vibes, and you like what we're doing over here in the Soul Tribe family, growing and building a community of action takers and believers, then share the room, tap that screen, don't be mean, drop a bean, and do me a big favor and support my YouTube channel. Remember, together we are stronger. So educate yourself, ask questions, and verify everything. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. Let's go, let's grow.
Go ahead, Brother AZ. I think you wanted to say something.
You know what? I don't know if I put up a hand or anything, but I will say this, that you're right. Here in America, it's always a blame game, because this is I think subliminally we fall into this bracket because everything's about energy, and there's only one thing that's constant in life, and that's change. But here in America, it's a resistance to change. And if there is any change here in America, it's to change to keep things the same. So because of that particular reason, we have to kind of be more aware, make sure that we're growing inwardly. And like you said, with that world change, will we change ourselves? Yes, because our perspective change, and if the inside of us change, our outside world will change. That doesn't mean the world all together and everybody included in there, because I don't know if that'll ever happen. But I do know that our world will change, because you see things differently, so your vibration raises up. And so how the universe operates is that the vibrations that we put out, the universe sets up the experience to that vibration. So now your whole perspective has changed. So let's say a guy says, I want to get out of my 9 to 5 and I want to do real estate, or I want to get out of my 9 to 5 and I want to do government contracts. I want to get out of my 9 to 5 and I want to have a construction company. All of a sudden, they start to feel happy. They don't care about what happens at this job. They don't care about what people are saying. Okay, well, you're going to lose your job. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to let these outside pressure make me doubt myself or let my inner critic inside of myself protect myself from being the best version of myself, because my old self has always been inward, didn't want to go out and do this, but I don't want to do that no more. I want to feel happy. Immediately that person starts to change. Immediately the universe starts to set up these experiences, whether they be people, places, or things, that this person's going to run into on that road in that vibration as far as that mindset is concerned. So that's all I wanted to say about that, bro.
Well said.
I can trace back my work ethic to, we had a little efficiency apartment in Hawaii, and we were evicted out of there, couldn't pay the rent. The rent was $280 a month. We eventually got kicked out. When we got kicked out, I was 15 years old. I'll never forget it. I was standing there at the door. There was the notice. In that moment, I saw my mom crying, and that kind of pain really impacted me. And I thought then, I want to do everything that I can to make sure we never get evicted like this again, and make sure that she's never this upset again. I didn't even know what that meant at 15 years old. It just meant I have to work. I have to work. I have to do something with my own two hands. This is the stuff that you can control. We control the controllables, as we say. The other part is a competitive nature that is in my DNA and it's in my blood, where I love the competition. I love to win, and I also love to learn. I don't say lose, I say I love to learn. So I would say it's a combination of that. For me, the work ethic comes from, I never want to be evicted again. The other side to that is a competitive nature, and that competitive nature, that never goes away.
The thing that has worked for me is to remember the hard times. I would remember that, and it allows me then to be present in the moment and understand, holy shit, the stuff I have around me right now, this is the shit that I dreamed of when I was a kid.
For me, the drive just comes from wanting to do more. I've gotten really lucky and fortunate over the years to have accomplished what I've been able to accomplish, but again, the hunger doesn't go away. I like to say I got a full plate, but I could always make room for the stuff I love. When I wake up in the morning, I have got to be running towards the thing that I want to do, and not walking towards it, not, I really don't feel like doing this, or why did I got to be running to it. And I realized that if I'm able to do that, get up in the morning and run to it, then I'm in that place of joy and happiness.
It's the grind that we love and sink our teeth into and just fucking go and get after it. Because I've worked hard to get here.
Whatever it is that you want to do, you've got to get after it. You got to get after it. There's no substitute for hard work. Hard work always pays.
Because a lot of times you go down the road and, you know, there's the phrase, you have to walk by faith and not by sight. A lot of times you walk by faith, not sight nor experience, and you just don't know. When I first started my wrestling career, I got there in the WWE, and I have a meeting with Vince McMahon, and Vince says, okay, he said, what's important to you? And I said, well, what's important to me is learning the business. Even though I grew up in professional wrestling, still so much to learn, and I want to be good. I want to be really good at what I do and put in the time and put in the work in a way, and I mean this respectfully. I said, I'd like to do it on my own. I don't want to be handed anything or given anything just because my grandfather wrestled for Vince McMahon's dad in the 70s. My dad wrestled for Vince McMahon in the 80s. And I said, I mean that respectfully. I just feel like I want to do it on my own. But we all go through our own journey and process. So there's something I think that we all can tap into that becomes our juice and our wiring. For me, you bring up my old man. My dad was a professional wrestler at a time when professional wrestling, I think, wasn't as globally renowned as it is today. My dad was paycheck to paycheck kind of guy, and when I decided to get into professional wrestling, we had the biggest fight about it. And ultimately he said, look, I'm not too sure if you have anything to offer. I mean, it got to that level. along the road of life, we always have these moments that are seminal moments where somebody, sometimes it's a loved one like my old man, sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's a boss, sometimes it's a stranger who says, you can't do it, you're not good enough, don't even try, pack your stuff and go home. My back is up against this motherfucker. Every day, it's against this fucking wall. But it's up against this motherfucker because it's what I believe in. And when my back is against this motherfucker, then there's nowhere to go. But that way, that's it. Just because it's never been done doesn't mean it can't be done. Get your ass kicked, get back up, and you put the gloves back on and you swing away.
Hey family, this is your boy Chocolate Goodie. I just wanted to take a moment and say, this journey, this movement, is not just about me, it's about us. Together we're building something incredible, a community of action takers, dreamers and doers. But here's the truth, none of this happens without you. Every gift, every follow, every share, it's more than just a gesture, it's fuel for the vision. When you drop a gift, when you tap that follow button, you're not just supporting me, you're helping to spread positivity and empowerment and motivation to even more people. Your support helps us create more shows, bring more powerful guests, and helps me build a platform where everybody can shine. And if you support positive vibes, and you like what we're doing over here in the Soul Tribe family, growing and building a community of action takers and believers, then share the room, tap that screen, don't be mean, drop a bean, and do me a big favor and support my YouTube channel. Remember, together we are stronger. So educate yourself, ask questions, and verify everything. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. Let's go, let's grow.
When I got to Hollywood, I was coming out of the world of professional wrestling, WWE, and I was really determined, hopefully, to have a career that had longevity, and I was willing to put in the work and commit. But what I realized at that time was there was a lot of naysayers and there was a lot of cynicism as I was getting into Hollywood, and I get it. It was a little tricky because I was coming out of the world of professional wrestling. When I got there, a lot of people around me at that time who were part of my management team said, listen, if you really want to make it in Hollywood, and even those who weren't part of my team, you know, now looking back, I could see the chess that they were trying to play back then. They said, if you really want to make it in Hollywood, then you can't call yourself The Rock. You got to lose weight. Don't talk about wrestling. You have to look and walk and talk and act like these guys. And these guys are the biggest stars in the world at that time. Johnny Depp, Will Smith, etc. If you don't know any better, you buy into that stuff like I bought into that back then. But then you start to realize something starts to eat at your gut about, well, this just doesn't feel right because I'm not being authentic. I'm not being myself. So finally, I said, a few years later, I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to be myself. I said, I'd like to have the same career as these guys, only bigger and different. And I mean it respectfully. And they all looked at me like I had three heads. I'm not these guys. I'm not a Johnny Depp. I'm not a Will Smith. I'm not a George Clooney. Those guys who were big stars at that time. I'm me. And the most important thing I could be is authentic.
And if I fail, then I fail being myself. So I got to be me.
Important to understand that when we're trying to achieve goals or go different places and do things that it's something we've never done before, right? Sometimes we can go do something we do, and you got the confidence when you do that. But the real journey and the real juice of life, the fun comes from that unknown. You know what I mean? From achieving what you at one time was just a dream. You felt it to be impossible. You saw somebody else do it, maybe, and it inspired you to do it, but you never did it. I think it's very unwise to think that on that journey of you doing it or you becoming, that you're not going to hit bumps in the road. It is a guarantee. A guarantee. And sometimes, like I used to work, do the sanitation, run a sanitation team where for this bakery, right? And it's all kind of equipment and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And sometimes I would go up under something. You know what I mean? I got my helmet and stuff on, and I'm confident in where I'm going. And then all of a sudden, boom! I'd have hit solid metal and knocked me clean on my ass. Hey, welcome, Comanche. And when I fall, I'm stunned, and I'm so glad that I had that helmet on because my head would have been busted. I prepared myself for a situation, even though the majority of the time I'm not doing nothing but just wearing that helmet. But thank God that day that even though it's not something that I have it as part of my repertoire, it's part of my PPE, my personal protection equipment. I think in life we need to have our own personal protection equipment inside of us. And the only way to get there, the only way to get that is by knowing yourself, being aware of your emotions, your feelings, you know what I'm saying, that inspire you to activate. And how those emotions and feelings activate even sometimes when you don't do anything. One of the biggest powers that we have is our ability to think things into existence. I didn't even talk about the speaking part. I'm talking about just the power of thought. Those emotions and feelings that we have, sometimes they can be so strong, poof, like a post that we putting out into the universe because we put so much focus on it. How can that be? Because we are powerful.
Easy.
Go ahead, AZ, please.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy because, like I said, loving yourself through astrology, all the stuff that you're saying is really what it is because it's how you're wired. Remember, and as a Sagittarius, and I'm a Sagittarius too, but I'm in Neptune, the open-mindedness, the thinking, your energy. And see, and I know all this, because it's like when you know how you're wired, from an energetic perspective, knowing your zodiac, where the placements are, this is all energy. All thoughts are universal. That's why people get discouraged when someone says, "Oh, you're gonna be shit," because that plays so much of a big role. A lot of people have gone downhill simply because, "Oh, you're a nigga. You'll never amount to this. You won't be this and this." And now we start developing this inner critic. This you versus you is really your thoughts. That's really what it is. But if you really properly don't know yourself, how do you know how to navigate yourself? If you don't work on the energy and rewiring the energy, you can have good intentions, but you'll never get there because you are not working on that energy. Making money is a vibration. Putting yourself in a position that most people are not in is you actually changing the way that you think, which raises up that vibration, which is energy. Now, going into the deeper side of the zodiac and actually going into your descending signs, that's when you start dealing to the subconscious mind. Like you said, how do you prepare for another week? How do you prepare for another day? You do that at nighttime, where it's between the state of mind where you're almost asleep, but you're kind of awake. Right here is where you set your intentions every single night. Every single night, because if you go to bed and say, "Okay, well, I've done my day, I've done this," the conscious mind is doing this, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do these. Okay, I feel like I'm accomplished, so I'm gonna go to bed. But you don't give an assignment, you don't give a commandment to your subconscious to bring that into fruition. And what your subconscious is gonna do is gonna go back to what it's accustomed to doing. It's going to say, "Well, you know what? For so many years before you got to this thought process, we've been doing this. You haven't given me any instructions, so therefore I'm going to continue to do this," and it's going to set those experiences up for you. So you'll have drifts and you'll have drafts of your plans coming to fruition. And so what happens? Most people get used to the bumps in the road, where, like how you're saying, you expect these things. I get excited when I see bumps in the road because that lets me know how well I'm working in my descending signs, how well I'm working into my subconscious mind. You have to dig deep, and you got to get that shovel. You have to start digging real deep, because when we start really dealing with you versus you, it's way deeper than surface level of, "Oh, it's just you versus you." And your thoughts is how you're wired. Because how you're wired, you have to literally go in there and fix it. Jesus said, "Those that put their hands to the plow and then turn around, They're not fit for the kingdom. What that means is that's every single day to cultivate that energy. So like prime example, I'll give you an example. My Libra in the descending sign falls into Pluto. So I'm a Sun Aquarius, I'm an ascending Pisces, I'm a Moon Gemini. But I'm having something working against me in my subconscious mind because my Libra is attached to abandonment. So let's say in relationships, right? I may get a little bit with my past self before I start doing this work. I used to want, used to look for some validation, wanted that extra love and so forth. My mom died 7 days after I was born, so I never knew my mom. I don't know about no motherly love. So all these things, this abandonment, followed me into my relationships and tore it up. And also in my 7th house, I have a Capricorn down there, and my Capricorn was immature. It was old-fashioned, so it was practicality, so it fell into religion. So I would put these demands from a Christian perspective into my relationships. You see? And I wouldn't be able to move because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a very rude, very cruel, disciplinary planet. So I could not get out. I couldn't see my life without Jesus. I couldn't see my life without moving in this particular area. So some of the women that I dated or some of the women I kicked it with, they just weren't with that. And I said, well, man, you don't love Jesus? What's wrong with you? You don't love this? But really, I was putting these demands subconsciously on people, and I didn't know that. So when I really started to get down deep into the zodiac, started really actually working on it, then it's like all of a sudden shit just started changing. I mean, literally shit just started popping off like, okay, well, this is starting to pop off. This person's coming through. This person who I haven't heard for so long is coming through. And I'm like, wow, what is this? It's me just working on that. And when I started working on that energy, guess what? My thoughts started to change. Those low vibrational thoughts, these thoughts that's been following me, okay, well, I have to feel I'm going to get excited. And some of that inner voice say, oh, man, this shit ain't going to work out. Ain't going to work out. You already know that. And it was just very quick because that inner critic it don't have to talk to you a long time because it was raised with you. Well, so all those things, man, you know you're tripping. And you'll listen to that. That ain't no shit. Yeah, exactly. That ain't no shit right there. And you'll listen. Yeah, and you'll listen to that voice, and that voice don't have to sit here and have a long conversation with you. It'll just check you. You'll build up this whole plan, and it'll say, "Man, what you do?" And then you'll start thinking about, "Yeah, what am I thinking?" Now you start to destroy every work that you've made. So I just say that because you're a Sagittarius, so I'm connected to because I am a Sagittarius. So it makes sense why you would put out this motivation because I do the same thing too because we're open-mindedness. We do not get trapped. And we don't like to be trapped in our heads where we feel like we can't be free thinkers. Mm-hmm. And one of the most powerful things that we can do is to think and to really actually see how we are thinking and working on your energy. That's your recipe for changing everything. And once you start working on this, don't be surprised when people start getting pushed away because now you don't vibrate no more. They don't line up to your purpose.
Are you going to take action or are you going to waste another 365 days?
It means staying dedicated to your mental because you know that when you have the mental fortitude, nothing will break you.
This year, it's your year. And I need you to eliminate any doubt. I need you to eliminate any fear and go get it.
Hey family, this is your boy Chocolate Goodie. I just wanted to take a moment and say this journey, this movement, is not just about me, it's about us. Together we're building something incredible, a community of action takers, dreamers and doers. But here's the truth, none of this happens without you. Every gift, every follow, every share, it's more than just a gesture, it's fuel for the vision. When you drop a gift, when you tap that follow button, you're not just supporting me, you're helping to spread positivity and empowerment and motivation to even more people. Your support helps us create more shows, bring more powerful guests, and helps me build a platform where everybody can shine. And if you support positive vibes, and you like what we're doing over here in the Soul Tribe family, growing and building a community of action takers and believers, then share the room, tap that screen, don't be mean, drop a bean, and do me a big favor and support my YouTube channel. Remember, together we are stronger. So educate yourself, ask questions, and verify everything. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. Let's go, let's grow.
Full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. You got the power. So I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive vibes to overtake it. I got patience, one day at a time. It's how you operate a cadence.
So our job is to go from philosopher to initiate to master, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, from thinking to doing to being, to learning it with your head, practicing it with your hands, and knowing it by heart.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.